Oh yeah, talking Robinhood. Let's pump that baby. We're free riding that one now.
Yeah, well, we're bringing out the big pump.
Hey everybody, it's your boys, Steve Straza, Sean McLaughlin, Chicago Sean. What's happening, everybody? Steve, how are you, my friend?
Doing all right. Another turnaround Tuesday. What do you think? Does this one stick?
Well, I've got my chart up here, and for the first time in a while, we got VIX below 28 or below 29. So I don't know, maybe. I mean, I'm still rather astonished that VIX is hanging at these levels as it has been consistently most of the year. It's pretty impressive.
You know, a lot of people don't like technical analysis on the VIX, but something like this is really simple, right? This is the upper bounds of its range, and that's where it's started retreating from last week, week before.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to apologize to our listeners up front for my deep baritone voice today.
You're a performer. You're a superstar. Tell them what you were doing.
I had a couple improv shows this weekend that were bar crawls that involved a lot of yelling, a lot of loud voices. And so I pretty much lost my voice. I'm only just now starting to get it back. Although I think I may have a little cold coming on. So I think it's a weird mix that's happening. So
Sun's going around. A lot of the guys are sick.
Well, you seem to forget that we're all located in various parts around the world. So we're not together. We're not giving it to each other. Not like that time in DC. I gave everybody COVID when we were in DC. I'm pretty proud of that.
Well, it's funny. We had a lot of people on our team in the company gave COVID to each other, even though we're remote. When we did get together, we were just giving each other COVID. Anyway, wait, on the VIX though, I think last week we did a little VIX math, rule 17.
16, rule 16.
And we talked about Bitcoin, right? How strange that was. Getting some movement there today. This is Bitcoin's best day in a while.
Some movement up. That's good to see.
Yeah, and that's I think really necessary confirmation. Bitcoin has become a very important risk asset, has a lot of information. If stocks are going to find a bottom here, Bitcoin's not going to be breaking down from this consolidation. It should be resolving higher as well.
I was talking to our Bitcoin analyst, Louis Sykes, this morning, and he was highlighting the fact that Bitcoin is getting pretty coiled here. He's of the feeling that we've got a big move coming in either direction. He's not sure which direction, but we were talking about some possible option strategies to employ, and we were looking at Coinbase. As an equity trader, that's our best option to play Bitcoin with options right now, or one of the best. And we were looking at maybe a long straddle here, which for those of you who don't know, a long straddle is when you buy the at the money call and the at the money put, and you make money if there's a big move in either direction. The only hang up is that Coin's got earnings coming up, I believe next week, pretty soon. So We're holding off on that trade for now, see how earnings shake out. But if everything stays status quo after earnings, we might look at putting on some long premium here, a little straddle action in Coin.
Yeah, I like that. The crypto stocks are having a really good day today. I'm looking at BitO, the ETF. But that's the Bitcoin futures ETF. Robinhood is rallying as well. Coinbase is actually higher beta than Bitcoin itself.
Interesting. Well, okay, you let the cat out of the bag. You just mentioned Robinhood. I know you wanted to talk about Robinhood today, so let's just talk about it, because this stock's been bothering me, Straza. It's been bothering me.
Straight to Robinhood. I agree. So last Thursday, we had some bullish flow. What were they hitting? They were in $10, going all the way out to January. So January 20s, 10. We were trading right around there then. Let's take a look at the chart. A lot of stuff going on here. We've been using this anchored VWAP from the lows back in May or June, I believe June. And it's been a really good roadmap, right? We continue to see demand enter the market at this anchored VWAP, what you see in blue here. Now it's kind of running into this $10 level, at least getting close to it. So we have a really nice level here because it also coincides with these pivot lows from Q1. And I think, we've talked about this before. These have been our levels for a couple months now, but we're now back in the box. You have a nice base rounding bottom formation forming here. And from 10 to 16, I love it. You got your stop just below 10 at this A VWAP. You'll get confirmation when we take out this shelf of highs around 1125, 1150. We're getting pretty close right now. What are we trading at?
Well,
today's candle.
You and I have been joking offline about how this thing seems to be trading like a SPAC, right? Just hugging that $10 level.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe it becomes a buyout target down the road. But I'm frustrated with the stock because of the sideways action. Now, we've been in the position in Robinhood for quite a while. Now, we're in a good place with this position because what we did is we bought a risk reversal, which is where you sell a naked put and use those proceeds to purchase calls at a close to zero cost if you can accomplish it, which we did. And even better than that is when we had that spike back in, was it mid-August, I believe, early August, right in here, if you can see it on my chart. When we had this spike right here, we were able to sell half of our calls and close all of our short puts for a credit. Yeah. So that leaves us with half of our call position now at a zero net cost. And in fact, we actually have a little embedded credit in the trade. So we like to talk about free rides here. We have a free ride on this Robinhood. I just wish it would get going so we can enjoy the ride.
And what strike are the calls?
We are long the 10 calls.
That's the same that had bullish flow in them. They're not January.
They are January.
Hey.
Wait, hold on. I want to make sure I'm giving good information here. Let me just confirm. Yeah, we're long the January 10 calls.
Yeah. So in the money now, those things are going to get moving. Let's go.
Yeah, man. You and I were talking before we went live this morning about, man, if this thing could just trade up to 15, I feel like it could really get a head of steam going from there.
Yeah. And listen, 16 is our primary target, but this is a massive base, right? This is a really nice basing pattern. Once we take out 16, then this is uptrend mode, So I like this one long term. I think problem with this now is, like you just said, it's been a mess. We've been getting, kind of chopped up. It's up, it's down. Well, it's still a range, right?
That's right. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't mention, I did not mention this at the top, that this is the follow the flow report. So normally what we talk about here is unusual options flow. Straza, you got a chart for us to look at with any unusual options flow today or in the past week?
Yeah. So what stands out this week? What's funny is we've been talking about how there hasn't been too much bearish flow lately. We had one stock on here with bearish flow from last week, but the chart's beautiful, right? So don't want to touch that one. That's IC Bio. We're actually long this one through our Inside Scoop product. Some other names that stood out: Coca-Cola, Colgate, B&G Food, so heavy staples. Earlier in the week, we saw some activity in financials, Ally Financial, Robinhood, Huntsman. But what really stood out to me was Devon Energy. Did you know energy is still leadership, Sean?
I do know that because I am pumping my own book here, but we have been long these Chevron calls for quite a while here, and I've been noticing that action over the last couple of weeks. I'm very happy, very pleased.
So, energy has been incredibly resilient. It's been resilient all summer. We did get some sideways action. We've been correcting since June at the index level and most stocks beneath the surface. ExxonMobil is breaking out to new all-time highs. Like you talked about, Chevron is not far off itself. And there's a lot of really, really big bases in the space. What we were looking at was if XLE, which is a large cap energy sector spider, if that's above 78, you can call it 80, but it's really, those high 70s. Here's the chart. If XLE is above this shelf, former highs from 16, 17, 18, bias is higher. You got to be looking for opportunities in the oil field. Well, XLE is above 80. Here's the relative trend in the lower pane. XLE is making new, 3.5 year highs on a relative basis versus the broader market. When we look underneath the surface, we have some really nice setups. This is Devon Energy, one of the ones that we like a lot. October 28th, $77 calls on the offer. We're getting lit up last week. I like this chart a little bit more. Look at this nice big base. We have nice logical level to define our risk from back in, it looks like 2014 here. This is the relative trend. So this would be Devon relative to the broader market in the lower pane. Looks like we're close to a breakout here. So I don't know. What do you think about this one?
I find that that expiration of those options that are being bought curious. October 28th. The reason why I find that curious is because Devon Energy announces earnings on November 1st. So somebody either knows something here that Devon might pre-announce. That's probably not going to happen. But whatever play that they're doing, it's not earnings related.
They probably don't want the earnings volatility.
Maybe they're hedging a short. Maybe they're short the stock.
I would rather wait, right? Let the earnings report come out. Listen, they come out, drop a hot report, beat and raise, whatever. This is going to break out. You're going to get a nice base breakout. Again,
these options expire the 28th, so they expire before the earnings report. So the options aren't even playing the earnings.
Well, I'm talking about for us.
No.
Yeah, I would rather wait, right? Let that earnings report get out of the way, then get long a name like this after you get the base breakout.
No, I agree with that 100%. I love this chart, and as long as nothing crazy happens following earnings, I mean, we don't want to chase it, right? If it has a big gap and trades up to like $90 or something, we don't want to chase it. But if it hangs around here and maybe just breaks that breakout level following earnings, that could be a great opportunity to buy here.
And I will say, you tend to see stuff like this ahead of earnings reports, right? You'll see something setting up, like this. And like you just mentioned, we got earnings in about a week. Typically, when you have a nice, base continuation pattern here, earnings report, well, that's just the catalyst to bring on the breakout that, is forming here. So would not be surprised to see a nice upside reaction after they report, just based on the chart.
I want to remind our listeners too, we talk about this a lot, but in case people haven't heard us riff on this before, is that we use the options flow report not as a tool to hop on the same options trades that other big players are doing. In fact, we don't do that at all. What we do though is that acts as kind of a screener to help draw our attention to unique opportunities. And this Devon Energy is a perfect example, right? Like, it brought this stock to our attention. We're looking at the chart. We're seeing a great setup. We know we got earnings coming up in a week, but after that, the coast is clear. As long as the chart maintains, this is a stock that we might want to play with options. We're not going to play the options that are highlighted in the report. That's not the point of the report. It's just to act as just one other data point to help us, surface the best ideas.
It's a great point. Like, we love our lists here. We love our universes, right? And this is just another one of those where basically we don't know what the goals of the actual buyer of these options is.
We'll never know.
We're not trying to figure it out. We're not even trying to, surmise what it might be. It's simply, hey, there's interest here in this ticker. Let's take a look at the chart, see if we like it.
That's exactly it. All right. Anything else standing out for you that you want to discuss, or is that it?
No. And, the reason is because for the most part, energy is still the only sector where you're going to find charts like this. Right. So this list, which has been thin in terms of long opportunities all year, really remains thin. So this week, I think there's two that stand out. Robinhood definitely, but Robinhood's a very different trend than something like Devon Energy. And Robinhood, this is still a sideways trend. Maybe it's a future uptrend, but this is still a sideways pattern. With Devon, this is a primary uptrend, primary uptrend off the COVID lows, and now a continuation pattern consolidation. So there aren't many of these upward sloping 200-day moving average type stocks. Devon's one of them, so it really stood out.
Well, maybe next week when we talk doing this show, the earnings will be out of the way, I believe, by this time next week. And we'll be talking about putting this trade on.
Yeah, we'll follow up on it next week.
There you go. All right. Well, folks, that's all we got for you for the Flow Show this week. I'm going to go drink some hot tea with honey, relax my voice. Straz is going to go, I don't know, you're going to go lift some weights? What are you going to go do over there?
I think I'm going to go look at some Robinhood calls.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good trading day, good trading week, and we'll catch you next time. Take care, everybody.
Later.